A day to remember. America honors its war heroes this Memorial Day and pauses in solemn tribute to their sacrifice. A Florida town remembers a man who died on the front lines of education, gunned down by a student. And what's behind the skyrocketing cost of prescription drugs? Eye on America investigates.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm John Roberts. For one last time as Commander-in-Chief, President Clinton led the nation in the observance of Memorial Day, honoring America's fallen heroes, the men and women of the U.S. military who gave their lives for our freedom. And he promised the families of those still missing in action that the United States will keep working for the fullest possible accounting of their fate. CBS's Jim Axelrod reports on this most solemn of American holidays.
Today in America, what's become a three-day kickoff to summer, yielding to the power of memories. In places like Bedford, Virginia, they weren't thinking about backyard barbecues. Bedford sent 35 of its boys off to Normandy. 23 never came home to wear their Legion caps.
Dear God, bless the men who died on Omaha Beach.
Today in Bedford, a national D-Day memorial was unveiled.
No one had been where we were going, and that turned boys into men.
In Williamson, New York, they were thinking of Vietnam vet John Crowley, killed in Laos 30 years ago. His body finally brought home for a proper burial at Arlington last Friday.
For the life and service of Specialist Crowley, for the sacrifice of his family and every family that has suffered such loss, America is eternally grateful.
At a wreath-laying ceremony, the president also announced negotiations with North Korea would resume to bring home the remains of more MIAs.
Please stand for 1 minute in solemn remembrance.
At Yankee Stadium in New York and at the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, a national moment of remembrance. It's taken an act of Congress to formalize our observance of sacrifice and service. From a grand flyover to a small statue in Grapevine, Texas, this was a day to let taps cut through thoughts of suntans and vacations, and make sure those who are missed are not merely mourned, but honored. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
An estimated 28.5 million Americans hit the road this holiday weekend in private vehicles, and this evening, they're back. Another 6 million came back by train, plane, or bus. Weather wasn't too much of a travel problem, but in much of the Northeast, it was a chilly and damp day for a barbecue. In the Southwest, it was so hot, you didn't need any charcoal. This was an especially somber Memorial Day in one American town where the grief is still fresh after the shooting death of a much-loved teacher. CBS's Randall Pinkston is in South Florida tonight. Randall?
John, earlier today, the community of Lake Worth held a rally of healing as authorities try to answer a question on everyone's mind. Why would an honor student with a perfect attendance record, no previous problems, deliberately shoot his teacher with a handgun?
Lake Worth 911.
In the frantic moments after teacher Barry Grunow was shot, his worried colleague called for help.
We have a teacher that's been shot at Lake Worth Middle School. He's been shot in the head. Okay. Well,
the suspect, 13-year-old Nathaniel Brazil, was sent home from school for throwing water balloons. When he came back to school, Grunow wouldn't allow him to enter his class. Brazil shot him. Police say Brazil had never been in trouble. In the search for answers, authorities are poring over his computer, CD-ROM games, and other evidence found in his bedroom.
These materials included printed web pages, notebook pages, and other written material which may indicate the suspect was interested in military service or law enforcement employment and related weaponry.
Police say the teenager apparently stole a semi-automatic pistol and bullets from his grandfather, and that two of Brazil's friends knew he had a gun.
The suspect, Nathaniel Brazil, showed them a small handgun last Tuesday. 3 days prior to Friday afternoon's fatal shooting.
Today, at a memorial rally for the slain teacher, Barbara Marshall used the tragedy to teach her 11-year-old son a lesson.
If there are rumors of kids with guns, kids with violent intent, to tell an adult, to tell parents, to tell teachers, to tell administrators.
The prosecutor will try to get a grand jury to indict Nathaniel Brazil as an adult. If he's found guilty of murder, that would mean that the once promising honor student could spend the rest of his life in prison. John?
Randall Pinkston in Palm Beach County, Florida. Thanks. Also in Florida today, north of where Randall is mostly, a spreading smoke and fire hazard. Almost 50 more wildfires have broken out across the state on top of dozens already burning. Some communities have been evacuated. At least 3,000 brush fires have charred 93,000 acres statewide since January, driven by a combination of drought, wind, heat, and lightning strikes. About 2,000 residents of Eunice, Louisiana spent this Memorial Day waiting to be told when they can go back home. And it could be days. The town was evacuated on Saturday after 30 cars of a Union Pacific freight train jumped the tracks. Many carried toxic chemicals. Today, technicians blew up a tank car loaded with acid because they feared it might explode without warning. On the CBS Market Watch, Microsoft has until Wednesday to respond to the government's latest plan for breaking up the company. Then comes the judge's decision. But that will not end the battle, a battle Microsoft is now fighting on two fronts, legal and, as Cheryl Atkinson reports, political.
As a federal judge decides whether to break apart Microsoft into two or more companies, it now appears that Microsoft guru Bill Gates has learned a very hard lesson about Washington and politics.
I think that if they had an effective lobbying operation in place, it would be like IBM. They had a court case against them in the 60s, and they effectively got the case dropped. And that might have happened with Microsoft.
But Bill Gates spurned political power brokers, while his competitors lobbied for a breakup through groups like the Computer and Communications Industry Association.
My association has member companies with revenues over $300 billion, 1 million employees.
Why wasn't Microsoft's lobby already in place a couple of years ago?
I think Microsoft has been arrogant, and that's amazing since Bill Gates was an intern on Capitol Hill. He knows better. They ignored government. They thought government wasn't relevant to their business.
But with Microsoft losing the antitrust case, it is now rushed to get in the game, hiring lobbyists in all 50 states, contributing $1 million to political campaigns, spending $4 million lobbying Congress, and giving $1 million in software, each to Democrats and Republicans for their conventions.
The best is yet to come.
And if you count the TV ads,
it's close to $1 billion, I suspect.
As Microsoft grew into the richest company in the world, it became known as a tough, even ruthless competitor, creating plenty of enemies along the way. But its costliest mistake may have been its failure to win friends and influence in the nation's capital. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
And coming up next on the CBS Evening News, the skyrocketing cost of prescription drugs. Who's to blame? Eye on America investigates. And later, 20th century warriors fighting to preserve their legacy.
Fish and chips, spray and wash. Rough and tumble, spray and wash. Spray and Wash gets out what America gets into. Now there's a new and improved Spray and Wash. Spray and Wash is better than Shout at getting out greasy food stains like butter, hamburger grease, bacon, and more. New Spray and Wash, keeping America clean and spotless.
How much power do you really need? The GMC Sierra Extended Cab has the most powerful standard engine of any truck in its class. Not because you need it now, but because one day you will. And being prepared for that day is what having a professional-grade truck is all about.
Now get up to $1,622 average finance savings with 3.9% APR or $500 cash back on a 2000 Sierra 3-door extended cab.
Why so many days in hotels out there? So no matter where you're headed, you know you'll always get
Kiss me?
A warm welcome. Days Inn. There you go. I was ashamed of it.
For millions,
I'd actually have to hide.
Gas can be a serious problem, but Phazyme starts to work on contact. To relieve gas, Phazyme Fast.
Phazyme, it works just like that.
Relieve gas, Phazyme Fast.
Tonight's Eye on America investigates the soaring cost of prescription drugs. In our first report in this two-part series, you may be surprised at where some of the blame is pointed. Here's a hint. Get a mirror. CBS's Diana Olick reflects the facts and figures for you.
Ask anyone in a drugstore.
The costs are getting higher and higher.
About the cost of prescription drugs.
I mean, it's just an incredible increase in prices all the time.
More than inflation, more than medical expenses as a whole. A soon-to-be-released study by the Kaiser Family Foundation shows in the past decade, the retail price of prescription drugs went up 7% each year. Today, the pharmaceutical industry has the largest profit margin of any industry in the U.S. And believe it or not, the consumer may be as much to blame as the industry.
People are bombarded by advertisements which tell them the glowing attributes of all these new medicines, and they come to you as a physician and say, I want this medicine.
The fact is, the price of existing drugs isn't shooting up. It's the new drugs. Fancy name brands with fancy new ad campaigns.
Isn't it Prilosec time for you?
These drugs cost on average 3 times as much as similar older generics.
I don't hear patients complaining about direct-to-consumer advertising. They crave this information that will allow them to be able to have more informed conversations with their doctors.
Pharmaceutical companies are pouring money into direct-to-consumer advertising, 40% more in just the last year, to nearly $2 billion, because it works.
When you try to talk to that patient and explain to them that here's an older medicine that will work 90% of the time just as well without any problems and at far less cost to you and your insurance company, many times they don't like that message.
And newer isn't always better. Take the new class of painkillers that includes Celebrex and Vioxx. Some doctors say they're no better than old ibuprofen, but they cost 10 times as much, and they're selling fast.
A lot of people are spending a lot more money believing they're getting a superior pain and inflammation reliever. But the evidence to support that is just not there.
Which presents a troubling question.
We see this stuff on TV, we want it, so in the end, we're as much to blame as the pharmaceutical companies for these high costs?
When we go to our physicians and demand these new expensive medications, we are driving the market. So in that sense, yes, we are the problem.
Now, some doctors, fed up with the effects these ads are having on patients and prices, are calling for comparison studies of old and new drugs. Blue Cross Blue Shield plans to start next month.
Are we getting a dollar's worth of health value for every dollar we're spending?
Or are we just getting roped into the latest designer trend and buying into the classic American motto that if it costs more, it must be better? In Washington, I'm Diana Olick for Eye on America.
And tomorrow, in Part 2, Eye on America investigates why some doctors are so willing to prescribe new, more expensive drugs.
Now get DirecTV and get 2 months of 32 premium movie channels. And you'll also get 25 specialty sports networks free. There's something for everyone, so what's not to like? DirecTV, now with local channels.
Dream, 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 dream.
Suddenly, millions of people are dreaming about dairy foods. They just can't seem to get them off their minds. The reason? Lactate Ultra. Lactate is the simple, natural way to make dairy easy to digest. Just take it with your first bite. That's all it takes to make your dreams come true. Lactate Ultra, for the love of dairy.
Amazing as it may seem, the same Bayer aspirin you take for muscle pain and backaches can actually help stop someone you love from dying if taken during a heart attack.
Peter?
That's why aspirin is the one pain reliever you should never be without. Talk to your doctor now.
They said you'll be okay.
Bayer, take it for pain, take it for life.
What's the difference between ordinary potting soil and Miracle-Gro potting mix? Results. University tests prove that plants grown in Miracle-Gro potting mix grow twice as big. Try Miracle-Gro potting mix. The miracle is in the mix.
Sis, I snooped in your medicine cabinet. So? You switched to X-Lax.
Yeah, Correctol works with an artificial chemical. X-Lax works with natural senna.
Very effectively, too.
You tried it.
What a find.
What a snoop.
Good morning, guaranteed.
Companies spend to pitch products to your doctor. And Wednesday, the huge energy company that's coming under environmental fire.
On the CBS Health Watch, scientists warned today that the sometimes fatal hantavirus is not as rare as you might think. They said the disease spread by rodents is a potential threat now throughout North America, not just in the U.S. Southwest. Late spring is the deadliest season for hantavirus as people take to the outdoors and begin cleaning barns, stables, and cabins. The U.S. State Department is calling Peru's presidential election invalid. Alberto Fujimori was re-elected yesterday in a runoff that his main challenger boycotted. That set off violent protests in the South American nation. Police in Lima clashed overnight with student protesters as government opponents called for the election results to be thrown out. Fujimori faced fraud allegations after winning a slim majority in the first round of the election. He refused requests to postpone Sunday's runoff and would not allow independent monitors. In response, opposition candidate Alejandro Toledo dropped out and urged supporters to cast protest ballots. Ethiopia attacked new targets inside Eritrea just as peace talks in this border war were about to start. Ethiopian troops shelled targets along the disputed border and bombed Eritrea's main airport. President Jiang Zemin has telephoned President Clinton to thank him for getting the House to approve trade breaks for China. But Jiang is protesting an amendment to the House bill that sets up a commission to monitor China's human rights practices. And this will not be Pete Sampras's year to win the French Open tennis tournament. The second seed lost in the first round today to Australia's Mark Philippoussis in 5 sets. The French Open is the only Grand Slam tournament Sampras has never won. Well, here's something that you almost never see. It happened today at Yankee Stadium. With Yankees on first and second, Shane Spencer hit a line drive to Oakland second baseman Randy Velarde. Velarde caught it for 1 out, tagged a runner for the second out, and stepped on second base for out number 3, an unassisted triple play, only the 11th in Major League history.
There's a new way to quit smoking. Take a good look. You may never see it again. Introducing Clear Nicoderm CQ. For relieving tough nicotine cravings 24 hours a day, Clear's every bit as effective as the original CQ. But it's a more private way to quit.
There's something different about you.
Yes, there is. Clear Nicoderm CQ. Want a clear shot at quitting? Well, here's your window of opportunity.
I've taken care of this garden from the very first seedling. We need each other. But when I got arthritis, I thought my gardening days were over. Then my doctor encouraged me to keep at it, because staying active helps keep joints from getting stiff. And to make it easier, he recommends Advil. It's the #1 recommended medicine of its kind for arthritis pain, and it's gentle on my stomach. My doctor's right. Advil and gardening work beautifully.
Advil, stronger than pain.
Actually investing online, when you make a decision, is very effective, it's very efficient, it's low cost. People have great information today on accounts, annual information, inventory, sales. It's information that used to take weeks, months, and they used to not even be able to get it. Now it's right there. That's Fidelity technology. When you come to Fidelity.com, you can get the tools to make you a more responsible investor.
Now get DirecTV and get 2 months of 32 premium movie channels. And you'll also get 25 specialty sports networks free. There's something for everyone, so what's not to like? Direct TV, now with local channels.
This was a quiet day along Israel's border with Lebanon, a sign the tension there is starting to ease. As Israeli troops watch Muslim guerrillas across the border, the Israeli government is working on a peace plan with Syria, the power behind the guerrillas. CBS's Alan Pizzi has the latest.
A dramatic gesture in Israel's gamble for peace, the demolition of an Israeli outpost in South Lebanon, ensuring that their enemies don't get it and clearing the way for a game of even bigger stakes.
Syria is there and we are here and we are ready to make peace with Syria and we are ready to get off the Golan Heights in order to make peace.
The Golan Heights, occupied by Israel in 1967, are the key issue between Syria and Israel. Control of the Golan provides a clear field of fire all the way to the Syrian capital, Damascus, or, looking from the Syrian side, across much of Israel. The deal on offer at the moment would make this the Syria-Israel border, which it was until the 1967 war. But the Syrians are demanding access to the waters of the Sea of Galilee, and analysts warn that could ruin the whole deal. Hopes are being pinned on the ailing Syrian President Hafez al-Assad's pragmatism and desire to clear the field of problems for his son to succeed him. The Syrian military is thought to have advanced missile technology, but their main arms supplier was the former Soviet Union, and in every field they are seriously outgunned by the U.S.-supplied Israelis. Syria has up to 40,000 troops in Lebanon, which gave them enough control there to use the Hezbollah guerrillas to attack Israeli forces in South Lebanon. The Israeli pullout removed that punching bag, and Prime Minister Ehud Barak warned that any attacks now could bring retaliation against Syria itself.
The chapter of peace is around the corner. It doesn't mean that we are already there.
But the quiet today along the border where Israel and Syria fought their proxy war brings that corner, or perhaps better to say, those heights, closer than ever. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Northern Israel.
This was the view this morning from inside the space shuttle Atlantis, heading for a pre-dawn wheels down at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The runway floodlights were on as the shuttle glided in, just ahead of a weather front that could have forced the 7-member crew to stay in orbit. During 10 days in space, they stabilized, repaired, and lifted the unfinished International Space Station into a higher orbit. Up next this Memorial Day, they're fighting to keep history alive for a new generation of Americans.
You will believe the following. I like basketball. I like watching basketball on television. I can't get enough basketball.
The comfortable Accord sedan from Honda. It's one powerful car.
I see lots of people with allergies, but the ones with multi-symptom nasal allergies, they're suffering from it all. The sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. For that kind of allergy, I prescribe multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
We are healthy, strong, funny, energetic, even sexy. We take good care of ourselves, and we drink Ensure when we can't eat nutritious foods like these. Ensure provides essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition and energy, so we can get the most out of life. Drink Ensure, and drink to your health.
Why so many days-in hotels worldwide? Because you might want to go to London someday. And we can't be sure.
England!
Which one? Days in. There you go.
Jolly good. Legislators meet on a holiday in secret, but we were there and we'll tell you what's happening with our state budget coming up tonight at 6.
Every year on this day, America renews its commitment to generations of U.S. servicemen and women to never forget their sacrifice. Now, some of this country's oldest veterans have made it their final mission to ensure that future generations keep that pledge. John Blackstone has their story.
They are now warriors from another century. The battles they fought are fading into history, but they are heroes still.
Sergeant Don Bacher, he's personally saved 40 men's lives. Sergeant Fred Baccalari is the recipient of the Silver Star for heroism. Homer Fisher fought in World War I.
Many who fought in America's wars now live at the California Veterans Home in Yountville. The residents here span every major war of the 20th century. From time to time, they visit Redwood Middle School nearby. For the students, a soldier like Homer Fisher is a living link to a distant past.
Would you please share with the audience your age?
Oh, yeah, nobody'd ever guess it. I'm 7 months old. I've passed the 100 mark, and so I'm starting over again.
Though the government of France awarded Fisher the Legion of Honor, his proudest possession is an American flag. But these vets say they weren't so much fighting for a flag as for a way of life. When one student asked about protesters who burned the flag, he got an answer he didn't expect from World War II Marine Dick Houston.
The young man was a little astonished when I told him the reason we are here was that so some misguided individual could burn the flag.
Larry Lapman served in Korea, but tells the kids his heroes are those who fought in World War II, like Fred Baccalari.
143rd Infantry. That was my outfit.
Almost 60 years ago, Baccalari had to leave his baby daughter behind and go to war. Back in his room, among his memories, he isn't sure the young can ever fully understand.
We walked into an ambush. The whole company, G Company, walked into an ambush. There was people getting killed, wounded.
In order for his company to escape, Sergeant Baccalari gave covering fire to his escaping buddies.
That day, Fred Baccalari was the rear guard, staying behind as others pulled out. Today, they are all part of the rear guard, guarding the memories for so many now gone. John Blackstone, CBS News, Yountville, California.
And that is the CBS Evening News for this Memorial Day. Dan Rather will be along later on tonight with a 48 Hours Monday Mystery.
He stole their hearts, then their money. Deanna thought Matt was the man of her dreams, but so did dozens of others. And the stories he told.
He was a race car driver, a pilot, a Navy SEAL.
Will they get revenge? Mr. Wonderful tonight on 48 Hours.
That's tonight at 10, 9 Central Time here on CBS. Dan will be back in this chair again tomorrow. I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. I'll see you tomorrow morning on The Early Show, sitting in for Bryant Gumbel. Until then, have a good night. Thanks for watching.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
How drug companies target your doctor for the hard sell tomorrow. Experience CBS.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at 6, it's no holiday for state lawmakers. They were talking about how to spend your tax dollars, and they did it behind closed doors.
And the Tennessee Department of Transportation is trying to make getting around Middle Tennessee a little easier, but all the construction is leaving some people without drinking water.
And more veterans are dying every year, but now there may be a place to bury all these men and women. The news begins in 30 seconds.
When we came up with Crystal Chicken Wings, we brought them here to be tested. They had to be meaty enough and tender enough and